Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my simple living everyday carry. These are the things that I'm going to bring with me pretty much everywhere that I go. So let's take a look at them now. But first, if you don't know me, I'm Spencer and I like to talk about simple living, frugality, and ways to cut down on your technology usage. Let's get into it. So starting off, we just have my watch. This is a pretty standard thing, but I carry it with me literally everywhere I go. This is a Timex Expedition. I bought this in 2021. There's probably been under 20 days since 2021 when I bought this that I have not worn this on my wrist. And in fact, I'm going to put it on right now. Next up is my bag, and that is the LL Bean Boat and Tote. This is the size large bag. It was originally white or maybe cream, but it's a lot dirtier than that now because I've literally used this every single day since I was given it by my girlfriend for my birthday in 2023. This bag is extremely heavy duty canvas. It is made in the USA, I believe sewn by hand. I haven't tried it, but I think my girlfriend could like sit inside of this and I could still hold the straps. I carry my groceries in this bag, so it's tons of cans and other types of heavy things, and this bag carries it with ease. You know, we see so many different grocery bags around nowadays. Every grocery store is offering some sort of reusable bag option, but they always end up getting thrown out because they don't really last that long and people don't need another bag. This is the one and done bag for me. I use this all the time for almost every single use. It's this bag that I'm choosing. It's not the cheapest option out there, but that also makes me less careless with this bag, and I use it more and more often than I would if it was just some throwaway bag that you'd get from a store. My girlfriend's mom has begged me to wash this bag, that she would do it for me because she just wants to see it clean, but I kind of like the character of it now that it's become stained with coffee and just dirt from using it as often as I do. And I don't have any intention of cleaning it anytime soon. All right, so moving on to the third key piece of everyday carry that I literally bring with me every day for this specific item, and that is my wallet. This is my wallet right here. It is a Tiny Ghost wallet, which is a company that is owned by my friend Sierra, who I work with in the film industry here in Toronto. She is a super cool person and she's really crafty when it comes to making these leather wallets, and she makes other leather products as well. I picked this up last year from her and it has been my wallet ever since. I like it because it is very small. For a lot of years now, I've worn a front pocket wallet rather than something in my back pocket because I don't want to be kind of kinking my back from having some big lump on my butt when I'm walking around. So I just kind of have the few key cards that I need in here, you know, my driver's license, my health card, my credit card, and my debit card. And then I have cash tucked in the front. This wallet is super cool. It is a very nice, worn brown leather, and it has green stitching, and green is my favorite color. Because I try to pay with cash as much as I can, having a wallet, something that can hold cash for me, is pretty important. So this is a key piece of everyday carry for me. The fourth thing, and related to that, is not everyday carry, but I would say it's many day carry, and that is this change wallet here that I've showed in another video as well, the Cash is King video I did. It kind of looks like a flower here, and when you press it, it opens up. And I have all of my change in here. So when I'm walking around and I'm paying cash, especially when I'm making smaller transactions where there may be a fee if you're making a small transaction via card, I can pay for cash and do the transaction that way. And if I'm making cash transactions and I just have my wallet on hand, you know, I'm carrying around all the spare change in my pocket, it's nice to just have this in my bag should I need a few extra coins to pay for exact when I'm buying something. So this is a many day carry item for me. My grandfather gave me this like 15 years ago. He gave me and my brothers each one of these, and it has our names on it. So it's pretty special to me, and I like to carry it around as much as I can. Okay, so the fifth thing that I bring around with me every day when I leave the house is my keys. Now, I wouldn't typically show my keys. I don't know if people show their keys too much in an everyday carry, but I kind of like my key setup and I'm kind of proud of my key setup. So I thought I would show it off here. I always wanted like a janitor key setup. I kind of love and respect the giant janitor keychain, which is jangling around with like 100 keys on it. I don't have 100 keys, so I don't need that big of a chain, but I found this nice big metal loop here that I use for all of my keys. And my key collection has grown a little bit since I've started riding my bicycle around more. I have 2 locks on there just dedicated for my bicycle, so I have keys for those. I have my house key, my car key, and I always carry this neat little leather pouch that's attached to the keychain as well. I got this like, again, 10 years ago probably, and just has a little button on it, and you pop it open and it is full of guitar picks. I have 3 guitar picks in here. So if I ever find a guitar that I want to pick, I know I have some picks on me and I can do that. It's just a little fun thing that I like to have. And finally, for the keys, my brother gave me this kind of dog chain clip, and I wear that clipped on my pants. So when I'm walking around, the keys aren't in my pocket taking up room. They're just hooked to my side and I can get at them whenever I need them. So moving on to another key piece of everyday carry for me, number 6, that's going to be a phone. Usually I carry around my punked MP02 when I'm not working. I have a smartphone that I use for work, but when I'm not working, I'm usually trying to disconnect by using the punked MP02. But lately, I've been testing this Cat S22 Flip, which is basically a full smartphone, but it is housed inside of a flip phone. So it has all of the tactile buttons so you can do the T9 texting, but it also has a touchscreen and a complete Android operating system. This phone's pretty cool if you're looking for a really good middle ground where you're still able to get every feature that you'd ever want in a smart device. But I just don't find this nearly as distracting because having such a small screen, it just makes it way less desirable to use for very long. That sounds like a bad thing, but it actually is great because I'm able to access the internet if I need to, or if I need to quickly respond to an email, I could do it on this phone. If I want to do banking, I could do it on this phone. If I want to do GPS, I can do it on this phone. But I don't have to worry really about getting sucked into it because it's really just not that nice to use such a small screen. It's a really good deal for what it is. A full-fledged Android phone that also kind of functions as a dumb phone, has a nice camera in it. It actually has a front-facing camera as well. All for like 90 bucks, I can do this and I don't have to worry about it because it's built for construction sites. It's made by Cat. Okay, so moving on to the 7th thing that I often bring with me. Again, not everyday carry, but it's a many day carry for sure. And that is going to be my iPod Classic. So this is the 6th generation iPod Classic. It's great. The battery still works pretty well on it. It's not the longest life anymore because it was made in 2007, but it still meets my needs for just going out for a couple of hours and knowing that I have podcasts or music installed on here. This is one that I often bring with me when I'm using my punked MP02 because that thing doesn't have the capability to have music or podcasts inbuilt onto it. So I have this as a secondary device that gives me those features when I want it. It's a great way to be intentional about your media consumption. I've talked a lot about using the iPod in the past. I also like that it's all my music on here. I'm not streaming it, I'm not renting it. This is the music that I own that's on here, and that is really powerful to me as well. I also carry around some wired headphones with me as well because this doesn't work with Bluetooth. You can, I think, install Bluetooth on these. I've seen people do it, but I'm not going to be doing that at any time in the future. I like the experience of using wired headphones. The iPod has become extremely expensive at this point. This is something that I already had around, so I didn't pay an arm and a leg for it like some people are at this point. They are really nicely modifiable, so you're able to bring them up to kind of a modern spec, that they're able to have a really good battery life and, like I said, Bluetooth capability if you wanted that. But you can also get much less expensive options on Amazon that are new that have many of those features built into it, as well as other things like Audible as well. The SanDisk Clip Jam is a really good option. It has even Audible built into it. There's also things like the HIFI Walker, which is really good, as well as the Sony Walkman. Those I've all heard really good things about and are going to offer a modern day version of this experience. And it's going to be at a probably lower cost than what these are going for nowadays. So take a look at those if you're interested. I'm not going to drop this in the bag because I don't want anything to happen to my iPod. All right, so moving on to the 8th piece of my simple living and low-tech everyday carry, and that is a small notebook and a pen. Now, you could do this on your smartphone. If you have a smartphone, you have the Notes app built into your phone, and you're able to take notes that way as well. That's perfectly good if that works for you. I like the tactile experience of writing on paper. That's really fun for me as well. It helps me kind of get less distracted than picking up my smartphone where another notification may get my attention and I may actually lose what I was going to write down, which was in my head and I wanted to put to paper. So I appreciate having something just so simple as the notebook and the pen. So this book I got a couple of years ago. It's a leather-bound journal cover, so you can get the inserts online. I don't really have a particular brand that I get. I just get whatever is remotely this size and can be fit inside. For the pen, I use a fountain pen and I have for a few years as well. This is a buy it for life pen in my opinion. This is from Muji. They're a Japanese company. This is a very simple looking pen. It almost looks like a hobbyist knife. It's a great size. It's lightweight, but it's strong aluminum. I'll unscrew it here and you can see it takes what is called an international converter. I think it's called that, International Standard Converter. And what this basically does is it allows you to use this twist-based piston to dip your pen into any bottled ink you'd like and then refill it that way, so you don't need to buy throwaway-based cartridges for it. I like the ritual of filling this pen up. It doesn't need to be filled up very often, especially if you're not doing very much writing. I probably fill this up every 2 weeks, and that still is me journaling every single morning as well as taking notes. So it lasts a pretty good long time. This pen in Canada is about 30 bucks. Once again, a great way to keep your mind on the task at hand, focus on the creativity, not really get too distracted, and take all of your notes when needed. Something that I want to start carrying around sometimes instead of my fountain pen. It's kind of a bit of a meme. It's a bit of a fun, crafty project, but it's just silly. That is carrying around a quill pen, a feather quill pen. I got a few of these feathers and I'm planning to cut them into a quill pen in order to write with them around the house. And it would be really fun, I think, to bring this with me in if I sit down at a park or a coffee shop and everybody's on their MacBooks and I bust out this quill and start writing. I just think that's a great time. So that's going to be something that I'll make a video about in the near future, is making a quill pen. I read a lot. I read every day for at least an hour a day, I would say. When I'm bringing something like this LL Bean bag and I can carry a few more items, I'll bring a paper book with me. There's just a nice experience that comes with having a paper book that you just can't get from an e-reader. I like the ease of an e-reader and the fact that you can have so many options squeezed into that little form factor. I have an e-reader, but I'm most often reaching for a paper book. For clutter reasons, I like to read a book and I like to get rid of it. I put it in one of the little libraries in our neighborhood, or I even pick a book up from the library and then I just return it when I'm finished. But I love having a paper book and I really value carrying this around with me so I can read during the day. Okay, so moving on to the next piece of my low-tech, simple living, everyday carry, that's going to be a water bottle. So hopefully you're carrying a water bottle with you if you're leaving the house for at least an hour or more. It's good to stay hydrated. A lot of people aren't hydrated enough, and I think you should carry a water bottle around with you and also not drink the plastic stuff because that's just plain wasteful. For a lot of years, I was carrying around a Nalgene bottle, which is great. It's indestructible, made in the USA, and backed by a lifetime warranty. I love the Nalgene bottles, but I didn't really want to drink out of plastic any longer, so I picked up one of these at a thrift store. This is a Klean Kanteen baby bottle. It is literally for children. It had a sippy lid on top of it when I purchased it, but I knew when I saw it that this was gonna be the perfect water bottle for me. I was originally looking for a full-size Klean Kanteen, which I later did find, but when I saw this thing, I thought, this is even better. Because the thing with water bottles, especially if you don't have a bag like this to carry it around, you're just walking around with it, having a large bottle is inhibitive to you bringing with you, I think. You have a large bottle, you think like, oh, I'll just leave it in the car, or I'll just leave it at home and I'll get a drink when I'm back. Because it's a pain to carry around a big heavy bottle filled with water, like a liter of water. I also have this comically large by comparison carabiner, which I bring with me oftentimes, and I can clip it onto my belt. This way I'm able to take the water bottle and clip it right onto my pants, and I can easily carry it around, and it doesn't weigh me down whatsoever. And this is something I just could not do if it was a 1 liter bottle. So this is a huge part of my everyday carry. It's one of the newest additions to my everyday carry, but I carry it around with me literally every single day. And it is one of my favorite items that I have. All right, so finishing it up, I have a little jar here of homemade skin moisturizer. I have pretty dry skin. Especially when I'm drinking a lot of coffee, it gets bone dry. And I like to have a moisturizer with me. I didn't like the super expensive and chemical-laden Aveeno skin cream that I was using earlier, so I decided to try to figure out how to make my own. This one has beeswax, olive oil, coconut oil, and it has honestly been a great addition to my everyday carry and to my skincare routine in general. I started trying to make more of my toiletries, I guess last year, and I started making my own deodorant. I started making this, and then I'm moving on to making my own shampoo now as well. It's the unsung hero of this everyday carry. So folks, I hope you found this video interesting. Just a few key items for my simple living and low tech everyday carry. Once again, some of these items don't come with me every single day. If I'm just going out with a few items in my pockets, it's going to be my phone, my wallet, my keys, and my water bottle. But when I'm bringing a few extra things with me, these are the items that I like to carry, and these have really enriched my life in a lot of ways as well. Once again, I'll put links in the description to anything that is available if you can still get them. I'll try to find as many of them as I can and put them down below for you. You can find them in the description. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments. Was there anything that really jumped out to you as a pretty interesting item that you may integrate into your everyday carry, or anything that you thought was a little bit silly that I carry around? I'd love to hear from you either way. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.